Now I'm gonna read that part in verse 5, Daniel verse 5, and show you how these things came to be, and then I will start in the later pause. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the thousand. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wife and his concubine might drink therein. And they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubine drank in them, excuse me. They drank wine and praised the God of gold and of silver and of brass and of iron, of wood and of stone. Listen to this. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlesticks upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king counted was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosened, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldees, and the soothsayers, and the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whoso shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof, shall be clothed with scarlet and have chains of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Okay, that part is also symbol of the democracy that God was going to force, the United States was going to force upon the children of Israel. That's the reason they bound and tortured them and shot them in the back of their head in 2006. And they alleged by President George W. Bush that they had them killed over 1,500 months from January to September to 2007. 2006 is when they should bound and torture them in the back of the head, and there was a lot of people that had been slain. And then even before the conclusion of the presidency of President George W. Bush, it alleged these aircrafts were flying over New York somewhere, celebrating 1 million soldiers they had been dropped over in Baghdad. And as I look back to the history record where this war had been that went on in some parts of Africa, where they said these peoples in 30 days with machetes had slayed about 800,000 peoples. And here it is, 800,000 people. These people slayed in 30 days, so they alleged, with machetes. And these people then dropped 1 million soldiers in Iraq. I said, but then this here blaze of sword is a cheap weapon, and they did all this in that short period of time with these blades of sword. So this, if you do the math and consider 1 million soldiers, Lord, you got to at least say each solid drop, and this here is still undercutting it. They kill 4 people. And if you multiply 4 times for 1 million, you get 4 million people been slain over there in Iraq by the soldiers dropped by the United States of America, and the war have not yet ended right now. Commonwealth, we know it's they killed 4 million people at least. If they said that they're celebrating that they had dropped 1 million soldiers over there, this is the little thing that we doesn't consider. Now, but the vessels, these are the vessels of God, is consistent with Daniel, and that's why I had to take you back and show you where we are connecting these parts together. So between what I'm telling you, the interpretation that God have given me, that you could take and read for yourself and understand how these things is carried out by God. How God speaks concerning this matter, how he talks to us and reveals certain things to us. But if we come in with a prejudiced heart because the way a man look and because the way he speak and everything, you be offended the way he speak and not considering the true fact. How is this man speaking all these things, just sitting up here speaking all these things? It has to be a God, and if you consider those facts and you take and become focused on what he's saying, then the same God that revealed to me, because I was in sync with him, you will synchronize yourself and he will give you the understanding through the Spirit of the Holy Ghost. But if you cannot figure these out and do not understand, because that part is missing, which you yourself should be held accountable for, because I'm telling the truth how it is. God will reveal to you the true God, whether I'm a friend or a foe. He was just like that. In the due process of this part, God called Darius to come in and slay the son of Nebuchadnezzar, who was Belshazzar, I believe. And Daniel had a similar name, and that's the reason I wanted to get that part. But it tells you here in Daniel chapter 6. I'm going to see how many pages that. I want to show you here. Because this is where Darius came in and slew the man of the Chaldees. It's created an animosity right there. Darius. Because when Darius came, and in Isaiah he spoke of Darius, that he was going to call Darius. And I'm not going to get to that part today. But when Darius came, then there was other visions given. He was the son of Media and Persia. This is where Iraq, Iran, and all these places were. These was part of the original Syrian Empire. It was a combination of a mixture of people. The Syrian, who was the black man which came out of Nimrod, he was the part of the Syrian Empire. He was the founder of the Syrian Empire. Well, you had you had Nera and Haran, which was the brother of Abraham. But Nera, he had migrated up in that region, and he also had son, the brother of children, the son of brother of Abraham. So in the Gentiles, all these was a mixing part. Many of these was strung along that border there, and these become Persia. Even though Syrian was in there, otherwise it became a predominant black race, which stretched on back, went down in India, and even in the Chinese region. The Chinese become part of these peoples. All of these. This is where the earth migrated to. But the children of Jephthah, who were the Gentiles were born, they became the Soviet Union and all the nations to the north, because Turkey was part black and part white, because their father and their mother came from Ham, who was the same as the African people down there. So you would have had black Turks up in there. You had to. But through this due process of ethnic cleansing had taken place, where this man, through secrecy, started out as the white horse, who was Jephthah. Once he gained his full strength, little by little, he started creating ethnic cleansing, and that's why you see the color code and the dilution of the pigmentation began to give way, become bleached, and become creating a near white man up in that way, mixing because of what it was taking place. So this is where I will start after Darius. I will start after chapter 6, when Darius took over the media, and this would become an animosity, be the driving force of this World War III this time. Because 70 years, God said, after World War II, World War III was happening, spoke